Chicago and the Philippines. A comprehensive review of the week's special community events, featuring many exciting personalities, handled by the most professional Chicago Philippine Reports TV staff.
Good afternoon and welcome to the Chicago Philippine Reports TV, still the #1 Filipino show in the Midwest. I'm Girly Pascual. Welcome to our show. Today we have all the top stories from the Philippines. We also have what's happening in our own Filipino-American community of Chicago. We have interesting interviews led by our very own executive producer, Miss Veronica Layton. We have Bridget Cotero Carino. All these are coming up and more afterward from our sponsors. Please stay with us.
The House Committee on Legislative Franchises has started hearing the bill seeking to revoke the franchise of Sunshine Media Network International over alleged franchise violations. Pastor Apollo Quiboloy, who is said to be an honorary chairman of the broadcast network, was still a no-show in Wednesday's panel hearing. He also did not appear during the committee hearings on the House resolution urging the National Telecommunications Commission to suspend SMNI's operations. That is why the panel approved a motion to issue a subpoena for Quiboloy to attend the next hearing.
If Pastor Quiboloy does not appear, then we will be constrained to move for a contempt order, and after we will not, hindi pa rin siya sisipot, yun na yung warrant.
Pastor Apollo Quiboloy is the honorary chairman of SMNI. And he's not part of the day-to-day operation of SMNI.
While SMNI's broadcast operations remain suspended by the NTC pending the resolution of its administrative case, Kabataan Party List Representative Raul Manuel accused the network of continuing to air on its online platforms statements that are false and red tag certain personalities. In a video clip presented by Manuel before the panel, SMNI anchor Jeffrey K. Eric Celis linked a cousin of the president to the communist group. Manuel also showed an online post of SMNI News where attorney Harry Roque linked a UN rapporteur to a terrorist group.
Hindi ko lang matanggap, Mr. Chair, na parang wala na pong pinipili ang SMNI. Parang kahit sino na lang na tingin nila ay hindi aligned sa kanilang views ay kalaban na ng bayan at dapat nang i-red tag.
Mga anchors po namin, nasa kanila po ang karapatan na magsalita kung anong gusto nilang sabihin. Kung yan po ang nakikita po nila, then yun po yung komento po nila, opinion po nila. Kung ano po yung komento ng mga anchors po namin, hindi po yung stand ng company.
Lawmakers urged regulatory agencies to act on alleged continued red tagging on SMNI's online platforms.
Ang NTC po, Mr. Chair, alam ko nag-cancel po kayo or nag-suspend po kayo ng website. Tama? Na mga alternative media, halimbawa nitong SMNI na the same pa rin naman po yung content.
We had a preliminary discussion with the MTRCB and we were advised that yung suspension order po nila includes not only the free-to-air but on other platforms. Should the MTRCB decide to endorse that suspension order to the NTC for suspension on other platforms, perhaps we can consider, the NTC can consider that.
If the MTRCB decided to suspend or cancel a program in all kinds of media platforms, and said decision is final and executory, we can endorse it to the NTC in order for them to assist us in implementation of said decision.
SMNI, for its part, asserted freedom of expression and freedom of the press, adding that they are open to receiving complaints and disciplining their employees if investigation shows it is warranted. The committee will schedule another hearing to continue deliberating on SMNI's alleged franchise violations. Meanwhile, Quiboloy has a standing Senate subpoena for failing to show up during Senate hearings on the alleged abuses committed by the Davao-based pastor and his church, the Kingdom of Jesus Christ.
Asian stocks got a lift on Wednesday from a rebound in the U.S. bond market ahead of a record $42 billion sale of 10-year treasuries. Plus, growing optimism, the Chinese government will implement a more concerted, forceful effort to support the economy and the markets. Here at home, investors suggested data that showed unemployment slipped to 3.1% in December, while underemployment only slightly rose to 11.9%. For the day, the PSE index jumped 1.1% or 75 points to close at 68.30, its highest in nearly a year.
Well, a confluence of recent news. Well, as you've mentioned earlier, the U.S. Once again marks a fresh all-time high. As of late, the region is also rallying because of the fact that finally the Chinese government has announced that it will start to support their languishing market. We saw that the domestic inflation has come in at better than expected. So these factors have contributed to the PSEI pushing it past this critical level of 6,700 to now above 6,800. Now you may ask, is there a reason for people and investors to be afraid at this current level? No, in fact, I see it as a start of a major fresh bull run.
In corporate stories, Globe Telecom posts a 29% drop in full-year 2023 net income after tax, despite posting record revenues of $162.3 billion and record EBITDA, as higher depreciation expenses and non-operating charges offset the 3% growth in top line. Meanwhile, the drivers for the healthy top-line growth, mobile business revenues up 5%, thanks to record mobile data revenue, while corporate data revenue also reached a record $18.3 billion. In the fourth quarter alone, net income actually grew 5% on a month-on-month basis. Capex for 2023 totaled 70.6 billion pesos, down 30% year-on-year, while allocation for this year, 2024, is targeted at $1 billion, or around 56 billion pesos, and is expected to go below 1 billion by 2025. On to another Ayala-led firm, BPI's president and CEO TG Limcaoco, keeping his bullish view on the economy, preparing for a strong growth, low inflation environment this year. He expects rate cuts to begin by the third quarter, but says this will take time to trickle through its NIMs.
We feel that maybe our NIMs can continue to hold. The reality is we believe our funding costs will fall faster. The duration on our time deposits is probably about 30 days, whereas the duration on our loans is about 90 days on the corporate side. So initially, I think you'll see NIMs continue to hold into the end of the year, and then you probably begin to see the effect of falling NIMs in 2025.
Meanwhile, Frutas Holdings, in expansion mode, opens 3 new Lingnam restaurants in the metro, Quezon City, Caloocan City, and Makati. Since the group's acquisition of Lingnam, it has added new formats, Lingnam Express, Lingnam Noodle Bar, and Lingnam Fried Siopaw. As of February 6, Lingnam boasts a total of 34 stores nationwide, including 7 original stores since 1950.
It's more fun in the Philippines.
Yan! Dito na! Perfect!
Everybody wants cheap airfare, but where do you find it? You call low-cost airlines. Their prices are direct from the airlines, and they're so low you can't find these fares published anywhere. They specialize in cheap flights, discount hotel rooms, cheap car rental rates, and great package deals anywhere around the world. Wherever you want to go, they can help you get there cheaply and with a best price guarantee. If you want the lowest prices on your airline tickets or other travel services, call now. That's right, call. That's the only way to get these rates. Experts are standing by 24/7 to get you the cheapest airfare and hotel rates available. So don't wait. Call right now for the lowest travel prices anywhere and for great last-minute travel deals too.
Call 901-245-4874. That's 901-245-4874. 901-245-4874. That's 901-245-4874.
Via Times, vital news, vibrant views for the Filipino Asian communities in Chicago. Via Times for your most interesting and exciting reading and your party coverages. Via Times has very interesting columnists. You name it, Via Times has it. Law, Filipino news, dentistry, immigration, humor, serious opinions, health, beauty, mysticism, Bata Corner, showbiz, and intelligently written editorials. Call Via Times at 773-866-0811.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat and welcome to Veronica segment of this show today. I have really a couple of interesting personalities from out of town, and they will be talking about a beautiful project that they just finished. And the first one is Mr. Danny Aguilar, whose name and face is really very familiar to us, I'm sure, because he used to live in Chicago, used to be going to many of our activities here. So help me welcome Mr. Danny Aguilar. And next is, believe it or not, he surprised me, but this is a really good looking guy. He is the star, the leading man of this movie, the movie project that we're going to be talking about. His name is Brandon Mello. Did I pronounce it right, Brandon?
Yes, you did.
Okay, Brandon. And Danny, we're going to be talking about this movie entitled Take Me to Banawi. I like the title. Take Me to Banawi. First thing, what is this movie all about?
Yeah, good day, everybody. Thank you, Tita Veronica, for inviting us. We're delighted to be here with this interview. And we have an exciting project for everybody. It's a romantic comedy called Take Me to Banawe. It's about an American engineer who found love through the internet, through a dating app. And he went to Baguio to meet with Grace, and she's from Banawe. And that's where the romance started. And this is produced by Cprtv Pictures, based in Dallas. And we're looking forward to for you to watch the movie and enjoy the movie. And Brandon here plays the role of Hank, who is actually the lead role in this movie. So Brandon, why don't you talk about a little bit about this?
Yes. To echo a similar sentiment to Danny, thank you so much for having us. This is quite exciting. In regards to Take Me to Banawe and the film, it's all about, contemporary romance, and we're in a new age now where so much of dating is happening online. So it shows the road of trials for both parties and how that evolves throughout the picture. So it's very exciting, and there's so much there. It's a really light movie that you can throw on during your Valentine's Day celebration. So I think it also represents the Filipino community very well, and I think it's a real treat for everyone this holiday season.
All right. Okay, back to Danny.
Mm.
Danny, why? Okay, I know that you now live in Dallas, Texas, right?
Yes, I'm based in Dallas.
Now, okay. So, how do you like it there?
Yeah, we've been here for 13 years. Believe it or not, yeah, we moved from Chicago to LA, from LA to Tampa, Florida, and then from Florida to Dallas. I moved here because of work. I used to work as an engineer in a medical device pharmaceutical company. And we've been here ever since. So it's been about 13 years now. We love the place, but we also miss Chicago, our kind of town.
All right, very good. Danny, you did this movie because it's just because you're an engineer, and uh, and this is just a passion for you uh, to produce a movie. Okay, so it's a passion for you. So why why did you do I mean have a movie like this? That did you film this in the Philippines? Because the title is Take Me to Manawi. I would like to know if you had location shooting in the Philippines.
Yeah, so just for everyone know, I went to college in Baguio. I majored in chemical engineering there. I was originally from Pangasinan. That's where I born and grew up. And to me, live in Baguio for 7 years, Cordillera region is a very beautiful place. I think that place is underrated. So when we think of Philippines, outside of the Philippines, we always think about beautiful beach, white sand, and banana trees and coconut trees, but we didn't think about the other areas and landscape of the country, which is actually the Cordillera region. So Banaue is a beautiful rice terraces up in a mountain that was carved by our ancestors long time ago, and it's the eighth wonder of the world. So when I conceptualized the project back in 2021, I wanted to really showcase the beauty of the Philippines. But more than that, it's different than just what people see, like the islands, the beach and things like that. But I also, more than that, I wanted to showcase the Filipino culture where we love our own family, the family values, that we do everything for our family. And that is actually the core of this movie.
Mm.
So you're backgrounded by rice terraces.
Yes, we actually shoot in an actual location, and maybe Brandon can talk about it because this is his first time to go there. We actually shot in Baguio and then in Banaue.
Yes.
It's an exciting location.
Yeah, it was incredible. I've never visited a place like that before. Just like the grandness of it all, with the rice terraces was gorgeous. Of course, like, beforehand I did my research, I looked into it, but nothing really matches the spectacle. And of course, like the people were so welcoming and kind-spirited. It was honestly quite refreshing. Just traveling out there, and it was just an exciting time in my life, and I think that energy is seen on screen. And I'm excited to return again shortly to present the film and talk about that whole experience.
Okay, so how long did you stay there for the shooting?
About a month total. It was 12 days of shooting. And then we did some traveling in between, and Danny and I, after we had wrapped the film, had some festivities just to celebrate that the film is wrapped and in the can. Yeah, it's just an absolutely, it was like paradise. There's really nothing else like it in the world. And it was just it was just so interesting as a foreigner, somebody from America. I've never traveled to Asia prior to this. So being able to go out there and having that be my first experience, and Danny really guiding me through the process, it was really a once in a lifetime experience.
Brandon, can you please tell us briefly your experience, your background in acting?
Yes, certainly. So I had begun my acting experience when I was about 8 years old. I started as a child actor. Um, I really was more in the modeling and commercial scene. I had done one, commercial for Flintstones vitamins, but I had always aspired to do more in film. And I had begun training with Alessio Capoletti, a Broadway director, and that's really when I had learned the true craft of acting and the intensity of it. And I had done that, within my teen years when I was about, 16, 17 years old. But really, I didn't get my first shot at a feature until this project. And Danny really trusted me with the lead role, which is incredible as, an inspiring actor. So I had, prior to this project, put in my 10 years of mastering the craft and studying it and doing commercials and, other smaller projects. But this is really, a grand presentation of what I can do as a performer.
Besides, it was really a good vacation for you, right?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah.
Okay, back to director producer Danny Aguilar. Okay, Danny, I know the filming is just a passion for you, but can you please tell our viewing audience how many films have you produced so far?
Yeah, so Take Me to Banao is actually my 10th film. I've done 3 feature films, 3 documentaries, and 3 short films. So basically, you can see some of my movies in Amazon and Tubi and other platform. But this one by far is the first movie that I made with a Filipino culture, highlighting the Filipino American culture and flair. So this is very exciting for me because I've never done something like this. All my movies are made in the US except for Take Me to Banawe. And I have to tell you, the response from the community and non-Filipino has been very, very overwhelming. We're trending again in social media. And next week, we're actually traveling to Manila. We're going to have a premiere at Shangri-La on February 10th. So we're gonna be in Manila, me and Brandon and the actors. So, hope to see a lot of people there. And then on the 12th, the movie will be released worldwide via streaming. So Take Me to Banawe, I'm very proud. This is very near and dear to me because of, my Filipino heritage. I really want to honor that.
Wow, great. Good for you and good luck. And how long is the movie?
So the movie is about 91 minutes, 1 hour, 31 minutes. And it's just really a good combination of a romance and comedy. I had fun, shooting this film and also writing this film with Jason Rogers. It's a little bit different. Like I said, you can expect a lot of the dialogue are in Tuwali dialect, like a Banawi dialect. Maureen, who won the Asia Star Model and also the first runner-up for Miss Universe Philippines, actually is the lead actress in this movie. She plays the role of Grace, who is from Banawe. So she has to really speak 3 languages. She has to speak English with a Filipino accent, Tagalog with a, Cordillera accent, and then Tuwali. She has to learn Tuwali. So it's a treat for everybody. And you will see of the Filipino culture. 95% of the movie was shot in the Philippines, 5% was shot in Dallas, Texas.
How big is your crew?
We actually have 50 cast and crew members because we shot during pandemic. So we're not allowed to bring more. It has to be maximum 50. So it was really hard because back then we have to follow the protocol and the pandemic because of the pandemic. So we have to actually block the entire hotel in Baguio, and we're not allowed to go in and out. We're not allowed to do anything else. So we just have to be in the bubble. So that makes the shooting actually better in a way because we became so close. We became like a family.
Terrific.
I
Okay.
just want to make an addition. Actually, one of the actors, Dylan Rogers, is from Chicago. He's one of the lead actor. There's 4 of them: Brandon, Maureen, Thea, Tolentino, and Dylan Rogers. He's actually from Chicago. He auditioned for this film, and I really liked him. And he actually, there's about 300 actors audition for the role. And then I was able to cast Dylan, who is from Chicago, and Brandon. audition out of 700, and he was able to impress me out of those many actors who auditioned for this role.
Okay, back to you, Brandon. Okay, do you have any kind of future projects in filming after this?
Yes, I have a film that's going to be released later this year, in end of September. It's actually a horror project. I got to work with some incredible actors, some people that I've actually looked up to for quite a while in my life. One of them is Gianni, who plays Dimitri in Cobra Kai. And the lead, JL, was, in some Marvel projects and things like that. So it was quite exciting. That film is called Black Spines. And it's made by my good friend Jordan Foss. So I'm excited for that to be coming out later this year. I believe that one is getting a theatrical run. And yeah, it's such an impressive crew, constant professionals. And Danny and I, of course, are talking about our own projects outside of Take Me to Banawe that will, potentially give me the opportunity to direct, which is a long time passion of mine. So yeah, the future's looking bright, and some incredible projects are on the horizon. So thank you again, Danny, for trusting me with Banawe, because if not for this film, I wouldn't have any of these opportunities.
Great, terrific. I wish you good luck and keep us updated on your projects.
Absolutely.
And now back to Danny. And Danny, can you please tell our viewing audience one last word about the movie?
Yeah, so finally, this is coming to fruition. I'm really proud about this movie because it highlights the Filipino culture, especially, the Cordillera region and Ifugao and Banawe. And it's about, families and family values and how we love our family, how we work really hard. We can do everything for our family. That's really who Filipinos are, right? So this is what the movie is all about. And I'm looking forward for everybody to really have the chance to watch it. February 12th is live on streaming. You can go to takemetobanawe.film.com. That's where you can watch the movie on February 12th.
All right, Danny and Brandon, thank you so much for gracing our show today. I really appreciate it. And please keep us updated on your upcoming projects and whatever happened to this Take Me to Banawe movie. All right? Okay. All right. At maraming salamat sa inyong panonood and enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
This is a prayer and a reminder. All we have is now. Anak, umuwi ka na.
Worldwide this morning, growing concern over a growing health crisis.
The World Health Organization has just declared that this is a pandemic.
Hi. I can't hug you. Don't touch me.
Over the last several days, we have seen peaceful demonstrations.
Protests over police brutality continued here in Austin.
Remember when you started going to college? You came home a liberal?
Dad, please.
That's what we do to you guys in this court.
All these people that we never met and never will meet because of what had happened to them. It's just too much.
The way that our family communicates is not necessarily, it's not great.
What advice would you give for those of us that are struggling?
Deal with it.
I think the norm for our communities has been to stay silent and keep to your own business.
I could definitely be doing more than I'm doing right now, and I know that others can as well.
What if someone is called from God to be an activist?
I can answer that question.
Shouting revolution, oh wow, breaking each tradition.
You don't believe in the Black Lives Matter movement?
an advocacy group reporting at least 3,800 anti-Asian hate incidents since last March.
I'm kind of conflicted. I'm like, maybe I should move home and be here with them.
I hope that this moment makes you take a step forward and a step together in the right direction.
In order for a subject to not be taboo in our community, there always has to be like someone to start that conversation.
You speak up for me when I can't speak up for myself. And I've seen you do that for other people.
I see a lot of people who just kind of cut off friends and family, and I don't think I can do that. I love my parents.
This is a symbol of our voices. If you look at your neighbors around you, you will see who stands with you, who stands for you.
At least I know that you can stand up. That's the thing I'm so happy about.
Do you need to get your hands on some extra money right now? Maybe $25,000 or more? If you're a homeowner, now is the perfect time to get cash out. While homes in many neighborhoods like yours have gone up in value, you can use the money for anything. It's yours. You can buy an investment property, pay for college, pay off higher interest debt, or make home improvements. A cash out refinance is the perfect solution to get the cash you need. If you need $25,000, $50,000, or even $100,000, now's the time. Home values are up, and so is your equity. We offer you a way to use it. No need to sell your home or use your savings. Call New American Funding now and speak to a cash out refi specialist and see how much cash out you can get.
Call New American Funding at 855-332-3929. That's 855-332-3929. Call 855-332-3929.
Magandang hapon po sa inyo lahat. Welcome to Veronica's segment of the show today. I have a very exciting, interesting, and very dynamic person in this show for our interview today. His name is Dr. Floyd Ski Chilton. Did I pronounce it right?
You sure did.
Ski, but he's more known for Dr. Ski, right?
Yes, that's right, Veronica.
Okay, Dr. Ski is an innovator, academician, and entrepreneur. How's that? Those are heavy words and heavy things to do. Dr. Ski, you're so impressive. I'm really impressed. And those are just some of the adjectives that describe you online. And you're here today because of your recent project. And you're also a microbiologist, right? Are you?
I'm a biochemist, yes, but close.
I see. And you've written several books. He will be talking to us today about his currently released book entitled Another Way. There is another way to happiness. I wonder what's this all about. And Dr. Ski, I really have to ask you, what is another way to happiness? Can you please tell our viewing audience?
Sure. Well, we in the U.S. in particular, we think the way to happiness is increasing wealth, increasing our standard of life, increasing our education, increasing so many of those things, keeping up with our neighbors and things such as that. And if that had been the case for me, then I would have been incredibly happy. I have a 52-page CV, published 160 papers, 6 books, 6 companies. If that had been the way to happiness, I would have found happiness. But it's not the way to happiness, and there's a major, I think, misconception. According to a recent Harris poll, 2/3 of Americans are not happy. And that's really, really sad. And many Americans live their lives in quiet desperation. And so the book that I wrote before this book was called The Rewired Brain. And it really talks about the incredible influence of our unconscious minds and our unconscious minds to really create a nightmare for our conscious minds and for ourselves. And I remember writing the book, and the book has been very successful. That book has, and I was at a book signing, and a woman came up to me and she goes, "I hate you." She said, "You told me in no uncertain terms why my life was so messed up, but you didn't provide me a solution." And she was correct. And in my new book, There Is Another Way to Happiness, I provide a solution.
Dr. Ski, isn't it that when we were born, well, starting from babyhood, we were really naturally happy?
I think for those of us, I grew up very poor. I grew up in a house without a bathroom in the Appalachian Mountains. I think there was a lot of resilience that we built up, but our unconscious minds, the minds that we don't even know are there, were built for survival, and they were built for protection. So they don't really care if we're happy. They want to remember the past. They want to remember our childhood traumas. They want to focus on the future. They don't want you to get kicked out of the tribe. So loneliness is pervasive. So almost every sad or dysfunctional emotion comes out of these unconscious minds, this back of our brain. And it's no different than the animals, and they come out of the back of our brain and they create anxiety within us, and they create sadness, and they create fear. And for me, the opposite of love is fear, and they create fear. And once fear is created, there cannot be happiness.
Dr. Ski, so growing up, people, when they grow up, there are several factors that make them, or they make them learn some lessons, or maybe that affects their happiness. Is that what you're talking about? When as you grow up, and you, with all the experiences that we have in life, makes us unhappy. That's why 2/3 of the population are unhappy.
Yeah, I think we have some good experiences, but to be quite honest, we have some bad experiences. And we especially have some difficult experiences that are remembered from childhood. And so there's a lot from our past that sits in our unconscious minds and reminds us of that. So we have to be able to monitor our minds. We have to be able to look at ourselves and go, what am I thinking right now? And the second question is, why am I thinking this? Why am I where is this coming from? And the third is this thought making me happy? Am I making myself happy? Because if you want to make yourself unhappy, you want to change your life, you want to change your happiness, change your thoughts.
Is that are those thoughts coming from our unconscious mind or conscious mind?
They're coming from our unconscious mind, but we only feel them, we sense them. So if we see something that was a threat from our past, we see something that was a childhood trauma, if we're feeling lonely, these are coming from our unconscious mind. And once we feel them, then we turn them into conscious thoughts. We go, oh my gosh, I'm afraid of that. Wow, that happened before. I'm not going to let that happen again. Why? So we focus on the future, focus on not things happening again. And again, that occupies the vast majority of our thoughts. And happy things don't occupy the vast majority of our thoughts. So we have to rewire our minds. Our minds are naturally thinking about these things from our past. They're focused on the future. They're focused on control. Like I said, almost every sad or dysfunctional emotion can be traced back to your unconscious mind.
All right, that's really quite heavy to me. Um, you wrote in your book that there are steps to uh, really, I don't know how many steps for people to rewire their brains for happiness.
Yeah, there are 4 steps, and I'll briefly go through the 4 steps. And there's 13 weeks of meditation, mindful meditations at the end of the book. But the 4 steps are: realize, first of all, awaken to consciousness, cast, see, realize that there are 2 yous in you. There's 2 brains in your head. There is this modern brain, this brain that humans uniquely have, but we have in the back of our heads these unconscious minds. And they're competing. They're competing for our attention. I use the metaphor, I say it's as if we're standing on a train platform, and these unconscious thoughts are constantly coming, and they're constantly vying for our attention. And once they stop at the platform, they open the door. Now we can get on board and we can ruminate that for the rest of the day, the rest of the week, the rest of our lives. Or we can not get on board and say, you know what, not today. I'm not going there today. That's not. So the first step is awakening to consciousness. There are these 2 yous in you. The A part of CAST is enhancing your awareness. It's important for you to understand, or for us to understand, what is driving these thoughts. Where did they come from? What were our childhoods like? What were the threats in our childhood? What was the trauma? Now, we don't want to live there. We don't want to live in that. But once we're aware of them, then we can start saying, oh, that's why I'm thinking that way. That's where that's coming from. The S part of CAST, CAS part of CAST, is the art of surrender. Either you're in control, or you need to be in control, or you be happy. But controlling your life in every circumstance will not allow happiness. So we must surrender that control. We must allow ourselves to be happy. And then the last step is trust the process. And once you've done all of those things, it's believing that you're where you are when you're supposed to be there. And you're here for a higher calling. You're here for a purpose. You're here to change the world. You're here to love the world. And you, if you're a person of faith, then you're doing that. You're co-creating with a divine source. And so those are the 4 steps that I go over in the book. And those are the 4 steps that have meditations, the 13 weeks of meditations at the end of the book.
Can you describe yourself, or after writing this book, as a happy person, Dr. Ski?
I really am a lot happier than I was. I I felt like, well, not I felt like I had accomplished, I may be in many ways the most successful person I know, but in my mid 40s to 50s, I was taking handful of antidepressants, handful of anti-anxieties. I was coming out of a second unsuccessful marriage. It seemed like I could accomplish anything. It seemed like I could save the world, but I was hurting those I loved the most, and they were hurting me. And I was unwilling to live with this inconsistency. I was unwilling to live with, on one hand, being able to save the world, on the other hand, being in such pain. And I tell people, pain, as long as you don't succumb to pain, or as long as you don't make yourself a victim to pain, congratulations in the new year if you're feeling pain, because you're going to grow, and you're going to grow in a big way. And so I took an 8-year mindfulness journey. It culminated with a devastating horse accident. An Arabian I was trying to train broke my pelvis in half and tried to kill me one Sunday afternoon. I was in a wheelchair, told I would never walk again, told my quality of life would be gone. And I sit in front of a palm tree that I call Divine Presence, and I developed this caste system for happiness.
Well, very interesting, and I think it boils down to having a strong faith, right,
Yeah,
Tursky?
yeah, I'm very connected. I I've been in Africa for 25 years. I've been able to, there it does, our conscious minds, our unconscious minds cannot connect to divinity, our faith, but our conscious minds can. And that's the whole reason for getting into the conscious mind, because that's the thing that makes us uniquely human. And we can connect to the divine through that conscious mind. And once we connect to the divine, I use a term called co-create, and that we become vessels at that point for loving the world and loving other people. And we're co-creating with divinity to be able to do that. So faith for me is vitally important. That's a little most scientists may not feel that way, but I'm a little unusual in terms of my faith in divinity.
You're so amazing. I find you so amazing, but our interview is ending. But, I've never met somebody who was a scientist and at the same time has so much faith and in connection, the connection that you're talking about with with God for sure. And I really would like to read your book. Maybe you can send me a copy of your book, and it really sounds interesting. There is another way to happiness. There is Dr. Floyd Ski Chilton talking about it, and he's got the right to talk about happiness. That he wrote that because he wrote the book, and also at the same time he is so much well accomplished person, distinguished, and an entrepreneur and an academician. Wow. And Dr. Chilton, I'm really so thankful for for you to grace our show today.
Veronica, it's been a pleasure, and you be blessed, my friend. Be blessed.
Yes, okay. You enjoy your weather. We're not enjoying our weather right now, but thank you for gracing our show, and I wish you good luck and and congratulations to all what you're doing. Bye now.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. At maraming salamat po sa inyong panonood. Ako po si Veronica. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye!
We would like to welcome all of you to Baladna Jewelry. We have a very big selection of 21 karat gold jewelry imported from the Middle East, from Dubai, Saudi, and Bahrain. And we have a very big selection of diamond. We offer free financing for 6 months, and we have a layaway system which you can leave your stuff for 3 months. We repair gold and we buy old gold. Welcome to Baladna Jewelry.
Salamat po.
Good afternoon. This is Bridget Carino Quetta bringing you this week's local news from our community. Governor Pritzker and the Illinois Department of Revenue are encouraging Illinoisans to take advantage of savings offered by the newly expanded Illinois Earned Income Tax Credit, a benefit that helps low to moderate income workers get a tax break. For tax year 2023, coverage has been expanded to include taxpayers with an IRS-issued Individual Taxpayer Identification Number, ITIN, as well as workers ages 18 to 24 and over 65 without qualifying child. In addition to expanded coverage, those claiming Illinois EITC this year will see their amount of tax relief increased to a 20%, previously 18%, match of the amount given federally. To claim Illinois EITC for tax year 2023, tax returns due in 2024, taxpayers must file an Illinois income tax return. News is Out, a queer media collaborative of 6 of the nation's legendary LGBTQ+ publications, and Word in Black, a collaborative of 10 of the nation's legendary Black publishers, are joining Comcast NBC Universal for a groundbreaking initiative, the Digital Equity Local Voices Lab. Through Project UP, Comcast's $1 billion commitment to advance digital equity and economic opportunities, the company is donating more than $1 million to launch this first-of-its-kind lab that supports coverage of Black and LGBTQ+ topics in the media and supports emerging journalists with a passion for reporting on issues of importance to these communities. Following 44 home fires during the past week in Chicago, Alsip, Harvey, Brookfield, Berwyn, Carpentersville, Tinley Park, Romeoville, Oswego, and Crystal Lake, the Red Cross of Illinois urges residents to test their smoke alarms and practice their escape plan with everyone in their household. Local Red Cross volunteers helped 92 people, including 23 children, affected by home fires, providing services like shelter, emergency financial assistance, food, relief items like toiletries, health and mental health services, and one-on-one support to connect affected residents to available recovery assistance. The recent fires are among more than 950 home fires that we've responded to since last July. Our thoughts are with everyone affected by home fires as we work to provide support to those who need it, said Mark Thomas, interim CEO of the American Illinois Red Cross. Although apartment and condo buildings are more likely to have sprinkler systems and fire alarms, it's still critical to have a fire escape plan and working smoke alarms wherever you live. The Office of the Illinois State Fire Marshal wants to raise awareness about the importance of safety around flammable liquids, as burn injuries can create life-altering impacts. National Burn Awareness Week is February 4th through 10th. With this year's theme of Flammable Liquids Burn. National Burn Awareness Week is a window of opportunity for organizations to mobilize burn, fire, and life safety educators to unite in sharing a common burn awareness and prevention message in communities. According to the Centers for Disease Control, CDC, 276,086 people received medical care for treatment of unintentional burn injuries in 2020, with 3,028 deaths from fire and smoke inhalation. Of 87 hospitals reporting to the American Burn Association registry, 91,875 people were treated in hospitals for burn-related injuries, with 32% of those being for scalds. Children under 5 were 2 times as likely to be seen for burn injuries at a hospital emergency department. Young adults from 20 to 29 had 1.4 times the risk, and those in the 30 to 39 age group had 1.3 times the risk of the general population. Today, 96.8% of those who suffer burn injuries will survive. A new survey has found that beekeeping is one of the most popular alternative hobbies in Illinois. In Illinois, beekeeping beat out aquarium keeping, falconry, lapidary, and metal detecting, according to modestfish.com. Angie Kuhl, a beekeeper of 15 years who lives outside Carbondale, warns all would-be beekeepers that it is easy to get addicted to the hobby. It's great for people looking to relieve some stress. It gets you outdoors. It's a mystical, magical world for sure, Kuhl said. There's a lot more to beekeeping than buying some bees and putting them in a box in the backyard, she said. You think you are learning about bees, but you are learning about when the maple trees bloom for the first time in the spring, and all about the flowers and the environment, she said. The work can be hot and dirty. Expect frustration. It is easy to get discouraged, Kuhl said. Bees teach you a lot of patience, and you learn a lot from your failures, she said. That's all for today. Thank you for watching our news this week. This is Bridget. See you next time.